Welcome, dear learner. Have you ever wondered why some people achieve great success while others, who seem just as capable, struggle to move forward? Is it luck, talent, or something hidden deep inside the mind? Today, you are about to explore a powerful story that will not only help you improve your English, but also transform the way you see success. This is more than just a story. It is a journey into a mindset that can change your life forever. Imagine this for a moment. You are standing at an important turning point in your life. One path feels safe, easy, and comfortable. The other path is uncertain, challenging, and even a little frightening. Most people choose the safe path because it feels secure, but successful people often choose the difficult one. Why would someone choose struggle over comfort? What makes them think in such a different way? This story will slowly reveal the answer step by step as you follow the journey of one man who decided to change the way he thinks. In a quiet town where life moved slowly and predictably, people followed the same routine every day, waking up early, going to work, earning enough to survive, and returning home tired and often frustrated with life. They talked about their problems but rarely searched for real solutions, and over time, they accepted their situation as something that could never change, believing that success was meant only for a lucky few. In this town lived a young man named James, who was different from others, not because he was smarter or more talented, but because he was deeply curious about life and constantly questioned why things were the way they were. James spent a lot of time observing people and thinking about their lives, and he began to notice something unusual that others seemed to ignore. Everyone around him appeared busy, always working and moving. Yet many of them were not truly happy or satisfied. And while some people worked extremely hard without seeing any progress, a small number of individuals seemed calm, confident, and steadily successful, which made James wonder what separated these people from the rest. And this question stayed in his mind, growing stronger every day. One afternoon, driven by curiosity and a desire to understand the truth, James decided to visit an old man who lived on the edge of the town and was known by everyone as a wise and thoughtful person, someone who had experienced life deeply and understood things that others could not easily see. When James met him, he respectfully asked a simple but powerful question about why some people succeed while others fail, despite putting in similar effort. And the old man listened carefully before giving a calm and meaningful answer that would soon begin to change James's life. The old man told him that the difference lies in the way people think, explaining that everything in life begins with thought, because thoughts shape actions, and actions shape results. And if a person continues to think in the same limited and fearful way, their life will also remain limited. But if they learn to think differently, they can slowly change their actions and create better outcomes over time. Although the answer sounded simple, it confused James at first, because he had never considered that something as invisible as thinking could have such a powerful impact on real life. That night, James could not stop thinking about the old man's words, and for the first time, he began to observe his own thoughts carefully, noticing how often he focused on problems, fear, and doubt instead of possibilities and solutions. And this realization made him uncomfortable, but also opened his eyes to an important truth that he had been ignoring for years, which was that his mindset had been holding him back more than any external situation. The next morning, James decided to experiment with a small change in his thinking, choosing to replace negative and limiting thoughts with questions that encourage solutions. So whenever he faced something difficult, instead of saying that it was impossible, he asked himself how it could be done. And although this change felt unnatural and challenging in the beginning, he continued practicing it, slowly training his mind to look for answers instead of excuses. A few days later, James faced a real challenge when he missed an opportunity that he had been hoping for. And in the past, this would have discouraged him completely, making him feel defeated and ready to give up. But this time, he paused and applied his new way of thinking, asking himself what he could learn from the experience and how he could improve for the future. And this shift allowed him to see failure not as an end, but as a lesson that could guide him forward. Instead of complaining or blaming others, James began to take responsibility for his growth, dedicating time each day to learning new skills, improving his weaknesses, and building confidence through consistent effort, even when people around him doubted his choices and questioned why he was working so hard without immediate results. But James had started to understand that real success requires patience and a long-term mindset. As weeks turned into months, James noticed a gradual transformation within himself, not only in his abilities but also in the way he felt about challenges and setbacks, because he no longer saw them as obstacles but as opportunities to grow. And this new perspective gave him a sense of control and motivation that he had never experienced before, helping him move forward with confidence and determination. During one of his visits, the old man asked James what he had learned so far, and James explained that he had discovered the importance of focusing on what he could control rather than worrying about things beyond his influence. And the old man smiled, encouraging him to go even deeper by understanding that failure is not something to fear but something to learn from, as it provides valuable feedback that can lead to improvement. Inspired by this idea, James decided to start a small business, and although his first attempt did not succeed and resulted in losses and disappointment, he refused to quit, choosing instead to analyze his mistakes, learn from them, and try again with a better plan. And this persistence allowed him to make gradual progress, proving to himself that success is built through repeated effort and continuous learning. Over time, James also realized the importance of his environment, noticing how the people he spent time with influenced his thoughts and attitude. And he made a conscious decision to surround himself with individuals who were positive, motivated, and focused on growth, which helped him maintain a strong and healthy mindset even during difficult times. Years later, James became one of the most respected and successful individuals in his town, not just because of his achievements, but because of his mindset and the way he approached life. And people began to seek his advice, curious to understand how he had managed to transform his life so significantly. When someone asked him about the secret of his success, James simply explained that there was no secret, only a change in thinking, emphasizing that successful people focus on growth rather than comfort, solutions rather than problems, and learning rather than fear. And although these ideas are simple, they require discipline and consistent effort to apply in daily life. As his story spread, some people were inspired to change their thinking and take control of their lives, while others continued to wait for luck or external circumstances to improve, showing that knowledge alone is not enough unless it is followed by action and commitment. One day, as James sat quietly reflecting on his journey, the old man joined him and asked if he was happy. And James answered honestly that he was, not because everything in his life was perfect, but because he had learned how to think in a way that allowed him to grow, adapt, and find meaning in every experience. In the end, James understood that success is not about reaching a final destination, but about becoming a better version of yourself every day. And this transformation begins with a simple but powerful decision to think differently, because once you change your thoughts, you begin to change your life.